Hey guys, it's Ellen here, and it's Mini Monday Madness. We're painting a mini winter watercolor landscape, kind of romantic looking, a little reflection going on down here. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials are up. They're a little bit late today. And also check out my Patreon. I have exclusive tutorials over there on Thursdays and traceable downloads. There's a traceable for this one, but I teach you how to draw it also. And so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, to begin with, if you are a Patreon member, you can just download a little sketch. If not, I can just show you. You get your 3 by 3 inch square here, and we're just going to kind of like from the horizon line up here, go across, but we're going to make the snow kind of go like this, and like this, and then have a little snow over here. And then we're going to add some trees. Some birch trees going here and here. I kind of just paint these as I go. And here, and then we'll have a reflection of the trees kind of coming down here. So just watch and slow the tutorial down. You can see how I do it. It's pretty much that simple. 1 by 3 inch square. So I have a 3 by 3 inch piece of Arches 100% cotton cold pressed paper, taped down with Scotch tape on just a piece of cardboard. We'll like manipulate that. I have water jars, paper towels, I have my paints. Everything's in the description box. You just hit those words, show more, it drops down, and then you can see it. So I have the little sketched out areas where I'm going to put some trees. I'm just going to erase all that. I don't want to show it too much. I'm going to work with some blush tones and some purples. Change it up a bit. So I'm gonna mix up some of my paint first. I'm gonna do like a really pale magenta, maybe add a little couple of colors to that. And I have my Prussian blue down here. I'm gonna make them like pinkish purpley colors. Got the purple mixed in here with magenta. See, it's kind of purpley. And then I've got Cadmium Yellow deep. I'm going to get rid of some of that blue on there. It's green. Makes it look green. I'm going to add some of the magenta to that. So it's like a blush color. And take some of the magenta over here. Okay, so I've got these colors kind of all laid out around here. And now what I'm going to do is going to get this top area wet. Just like that. Not super wet. I'm just going to I'm going to just take up some of the excess paint. I kind of went over that little line there, but that's okay. I'm going to start putting in some pink. I'm going to water down that magenta. Pinky blush tones. Now these should dry fairly lighter. And a little yellow. See, I'm adding the pinky blush tone. Let's put that blushy pinky color. Just like that. And then I'm going to take, you know how we do these trees, we're just tapping in color and they just kind of spread out. And a little more yellow, like the sun is coming through a little bit. See, I just tap that yellow in here. Just going to add a little more of that. Okay, here I'm going to add the little purple and browns. Just going to tap that in there. Purple. See, I'm tapping it for trees. Tap, tap, tap. Just kind of on this one section. And I'm going to take a little bit of this Van Dyke brown and tap some of that in there too. You want a little bit darker. Tapping in some browns. And go back in and tap in some more purple. A little more on the brownish purple side. Yeah, different tones. You can go a little bit taller here. Gonna grab that purple again. kind of filling in that one section that's where the trees would be. I'm going to lift up some of this purple paint, put in some of that pinky tone. I do want more of the pink. So I'm going to lift up this purple here, grab some magenta, a little bit of yellow. So it's that different kind of pink. Go in and add a little more pink tones again. I want this really pretty looking. Pink sky. You don't have to make your landscape so serious with the color tones. I'm lifting up some of that color here. Adding a little more pink. Kind of want that pinky purple kind of color. And now it's still damp. I'm going to go in again with the purple magenta blue. Less water. Just going to tap down here a little bit. More on the blue purple side. Kind of want those trees a little darker. It kind of bled out a little too much up here, which means you use less water and more paint. Alright, I don't want to fuss with it too much. I might want to lift up some of it over in here, just a little bit. If I grab the paper towel, it lifts up too much of the pigment. So I'm just going to take the brush and kind of do it for me. Just like that. And the brush has a little pink on it. That's okay. Yeah, I want it lighter. If you feel like it's still not getting that pink tone, just go back in again. See, I'm not getting my pink. There we go. I know I had that. And while this is still damp, I'm going to go in and grab a little bit of this green and brown. I'm going to tap that into. I like to have many colors. And then the blue again with the purple. You want it to feel like these background trees. A little bit of this Van Dyke brown too. Just a little bit. Okay, I don't want to get too crazy. Okay, I'm going to work on the river, the little river. So that's going to be bluish purple color. So I have the Prussian blue. I'll mix a little quinachrdone magenta and kind of get it more of an ultramarine kind of color. Gonna water that down. The paper towels are always close by, and I'll start to fill in some of that. And actually in here I want to put a little bit of pink first because I have all that pink up here. So I'm going to kind of reflect that. So I'm going to put in just a little bit of pink in here. And get this a little wet. Just a little bit of pink. It's looking a little too purpley. Just a little pink in there, reflecting that. And then I'm going to add some of my blues. So the blue up in here, keeping that little white strip right there, and then blue over in here. When it hits that pink, it might get a little purple, but that's okay. Like I said, you can take the paintbrush, clean up your brush, and lift up some of the paint. It's too much. And I'm going to go in and add some of this blue. I'm kind of just wiggling it across. Just like so. It's going to look a lot different than the sketch because I kind of paint intuitively, like I say, all the time. So I got this blue kind of flushed in. Now I'm going to get even darker. I have this indigo blue here. I'm going to throw some of that in up in here. Just with the tip of my brush. Oh, by the way, I'm using, I'm so sorry, a Grumbachaer number 10, but you could use a Princeton 8 long round Grumbachaer 10. So I'm putting the darker blue right next to that white snow. A little bit in here. Just tapping it in. And it's very minimal water on this paint. Just tapping that in. A little bit here too. We want this to have a little reflection down this way from the trees up here. So I'm going to grab some of that purple. And if it got all dried up here, we're going to take some water first. And I'm just going to push the water again here. And we're going to take that purple that we made. Just going to make this little line. It's going to bleed down a little bit. Try and reflect what we did up here. Just kind of pushing it down a little bit. See, I'm just pushing it down like that. It might cooperate, it might not. It's kind of like a little reflection. How lifting up the paper like this helps it bleed downward. Again, I want to add that little darker tone. And let it bleed downward a little bit like that. See that? Now it's getting that kind of like reflection. And then I'm going to add the darker paint again down here. A little bit across. Kind of a dry brush technique while it's still damp. Minimal water on the brush. Again, here. Minimal water. Can even add a little gray to that. See, I put a little gray on my brush. Just going across like this. Okay, I don't want to fuss with it too much. Clean up my brush. Now we're going to take some more pinks and browns. So I have the magenta, I have the brown, Van Dyke brown here. I get the pink with that. I'm mixing the pink with the brown. Yeah, it's like a pinky brown color. The trees that we splashed in, I'm going to grab this pinky orangey color. So you can mix magenta with some yellow. Get like a blush, pinky orangey. More yellow side there. Like a blush color. Okay, I'm going to water it down. I'm just going to put my trees in. And they kind of faded with the, this is still damp, it might bleed, so I'm going to have to test it. Just put the line in for the trees. It's still a little damp, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to dry that section and come back. Okay, so I dried it, so I'm going to go and add this pinky tone to the trees, going upward. And connecting here. I have a few trees back here. I'm just starting off with the pink color for like reference of where they go. Mine's going to look a little different from the sketch because I'm just kind of like not going to go back over the sketch. I'm just going to paint the trees in. And get another one back here. Okay, I'm going to grab my Princeton 8 long round, and I have the Van Dyke brown and some grays. So brown with mix a little gray. We can start putting in some trees back here. I want a little pink to it, so I want a little pinky brown. And I'm just going to take the brush and start flushing in some trees. If this is too big, I would go ahead and grab the number 4 long round. It's a little big, Princeton. And then we can start putting in some of these trees. Just kind of like wonky trees, kind of leaning a little bit. I like this brush because it's tiny, tiny tip. Makes great little tiny branches. Just out here, you know, darker brown coming out here. You don't even have to follow the sketch. Just take a darn little brush here and just put some little trees in here. Don't get too bogged down on how they look. See, I'm crisscrossing some of the branches. Have some lean down. And then you can throw in some little brown sprigs here by the snow. Little smaller ones down in here. Just like that. Let me zoom in more so you can see better. Okay. This tree section, we want to put some grays in here. So we're going to add some grays to that pink. So the birch trees that have like that pinky highlight from the pink ground. But I'm going to add some gray, some brown. And I'm just going to go like this, some of the trees. Make the little marks that the birch trees have going on the side like this. And then up, gray up top here. See, going like that on the side, kind of darker on the bottom. And then look at the little branches, again, coming out. And have it a little bit darker here, where it meets the ground. And the snow. I'll put a little shadow here. See, I'm just taking the dark gray and going like this, kind of curving out from where the tree is to the snow. And then get this little one back here. Branches. I'm going to highlight these front trees a little bit more. Get a little darker still with this brush and make those hatch lines. I can't speak today. Just like that. Get a little darker. Oops. I'm just making little branches. Don't worry if they're perfect. And then we're going to take some of this blues that we have, blue purples, putting in some of the shadows in the snow. Right? Just going down like that. And then we're going to put the trees reflecting in the water. So I've got that indigo. Maybe mix a little gray in there. A little dark. Kind of wiggle it a little bit. Reflecting the trees. I like to wiggle, see? So then it looks more like the water is rippling a little bit. Like that, and then water down some other ones back here, and then we'll add darker tones even still back here, and like little cross lines, so it feels like more like the water's kind of icy. Don't go crazy adding too much of this dark blue. I'm just going to take the water and just kind of push it around next to this paint too. And then we'll take wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I know, the wiggle is funny. We got the snow here. It's a little white. Gonna add just a little hint of blue. That's a little too dark. Just like that. Just a little bit of blue. And then here, make it a little bit darker. Again. That blues back here. We're gonna add some like sprigs, yellowish tan sprigs. Kind of here, grass, and then here. Got a few up here, and there. Don't go too crazy. And then again with the trees. Got that gray, brownish gray tone. Getting even darker. Right in here. Making those crisscrossy lines. Just look kind of on one side. I want it really dark. The shadow. Especially down by the bottom. Gets a little lighter on top. And add a little one back here. I might get a little too dark, but that's okay. Try to make things simple. Again, we can put little branches back here. Going up. Get a little bit darker. Some of the trees back here. And add a little bit of a blue shadow for the snow. Boop, 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 boop. This is such a tiny little painting, so it can get a little tricky. So I'm looking back, I'm standing up and looking back, and I knocked my microphone off, but it looks kind of like goofy in here, so I'm going to add a little shadows. Just a couple of shadows in this water. Going across. It's good to stand up or stand back. Grab some of that darker paint. Just going across a little bit. Not too much. And then back here, got a little too pale. Might want to add a little more darker purpley color. Just going to dab that in there. Just like that. I'm just kind of tapping it in. See how I just tapped that in? I'll tap in a little darker color too back here. Just to give it some more dimension. But I like the really pale trees and the pink colors. It's kind of romantic. I'll put some more branches coming up this way. I always like to step back and see how it's looking. So it's kind of how I wanted it a little bit. I might add a little more blue going down here. Looking a little too white. And get a little bit darker here with the shadow. And here. And put some over in here. Gonna have to play around with adding in some darker tones towards the water, and then back here, and then wiggling some of the reflection. But that's pretty much it. So let me just peel it off. Kind of a late tutorial today. I've had a crazy day. Well, reveal the pièce résistance. There we go, guys. So like here I might add a little, tweak it a little bit, this tree, and go back in and take some gray and just go like that. Put a little line in there, a little more. And get a little darker still, but just play around with that. on the sides. But that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Monday Madness. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial's up. Also check out my Amazing Art channel. That's the acrylic channel with the palette knife, demonstrations. And if you're a Patreon, you can download the sketch, or you get free tutorials on Thursdays and extra sketch traceables. So take care, guys, and I will speak to you soon.